Marvel's Bloodhunt is really heating up right now. We are in issue number 3 of the 6-issue series with a ass load of tie-ins in between. I am fully caught up on everything and I'm ready to talk to you guys about issue 3. Let's get into it.
You're now watching The Captain.
So we're picking up in the Impossible City with Blade again, doing his whole evil monologue, smizing to himself, and kind of letting everybody know that he won and what his plans are for the future. He's talking to T'Challa while he's in Wakanda, asking him to go find something of value within the heart of Wakanda, which we still don't know what that is yet. We do know after reading the Black Panther tie-in that he's like trying to fight off the vampire hold that Blade has on his brain since he turned him, but he's still able to control him to a certain extent to go after the things that he wants him to go after. Wanda interrupts his whole monologue pretty much to let him know, like, hey, you sent your troops out and they came back one man down. It means that sneak attack you ran on us earlier, yeah, that was cute and all, but now that the Avengers have kind of woken up and they're prepared for you, shit's about to get real ugly. And as she's kind of going through this, we're noticing that the Blood Coven are drinking the blood of Thor, so it's pretty apparent that they're kind of just like draining his body of all his blood and consuming it for a power boost. I'm so surprised that he just wasn't turned by Blade, which maybe Asgardians have some kind of resistance to vampiric DNA. I don't know how, or if that's the case, or why they just decided to drain him and not try to do to him what they did with Black Panther and like control him and make him a soldier of his. Again, he'd be a strong ass soldier to have. Along with Wanda too, because Wanda's just like here chilling. Why would you not want the Scarlet Witch, a strong ass witch like her, to be a part of your whole army? So I'm interested to see what's going on here more as far as Blade, well, what looks like Blade and whatever's inside of his body. We pick up where issue 2 left off in regards to Miles Morales going full vampire and everybody. Vision tries to stop him, and Vision fucked around and found out really quickly because he is shocked to all hell by Miles. And right after that, we have Clea and Doctor Strange coming in to alleviate a little bit of the pressure and the crazy shit going on right now by tying up Miles and then using the Eye of Agamotto to kind of calm him down and lower his bloodlust so he can actually think and be a regular human being for once. After the Miles situation is dealt with, we essentially get the whole group kind of sitting around and looking at each other like, hey, you have the same problem with the same person? Did you have the same problem with the same person? And everybody pretty much agrees, yeah, Blade's a fucking problem. Brielle apparently was not told by Dracula or anybody that her father is the fucking problem that is causing everything that's going on here. I initially was wondering why Dracula was so dead set on getting Brielle and like making her the help into defeating Blade. And he lets everybody know and lets her know even more specific that because she is the prodigy of him and they share a bloodline, she's the only one that can defeat him on some King Arthur type shit. I don't know how that works, but it makes a lot more sense now because I doubted he was doing this as a altruistic thing, like he had to gain something from it. And it's just the fact of he just can't beat Blade. He cannot fuck with your daddy, girl, so I need you to go take care of him for me. And upon finding that out, like any regular normal person probably would do, she dips out when nobody's looking. And it becomes like a recurring thing for her where she just dips out when people aren't paying attention. If you read the Miles Morales tie-in that comes out after this, it's hilarious because whenever people aren't looking, she's just like dipping out on some Batman shit. It's like her new thing now, I guess. After that whole situation, the gang is pretty much all sitting down and game planning on what they're going to do to save the world. Because they're Avengers, right? You know, that's what we do. We save the world. We avenge shit. So essentially, the group is going to be tackling this battle from 3 different fronts. We're going to have Clea and Strange try to get rid of the blacking out of the sun and get the sun back so that we can even out this fight a little bit more. We then move on to Tigra and Hunter's Moon, and they bring forth a very interesting statement saying that they have an ability to raise an army that is 1, impervious to vampire bites and being turned, and 2, they have no fear of vampires, so they're going to go in guns a-blazing. And they just saying they just need one more person to help them accomplish this task in raising this army. We don't know who that is yet. We can kind of gather an idea of where they are later in the book, but that's an interesting run from them as far as getting that task done. Third, last but not least, we have the main Avengers team being Tony, Vision, Captain Marvel, and Sam Wilson, Captain America. Those 3 are essentially going to be tackling the main villain in Blade and the Blood Coven. The really dope thing we see next is the bringing back around on the idea that T'Challa and Bloodstorm 1 spoke on in regards to Sam Wilson, Captain America being a symbol of hope for the human race and the planet Earth in general. We see that Iron Man hacks into pretty much every radio or satellite there is on the planet that's available. And we have Sam Wilson go ahead and give this really inspirational monologue to get the hopes in the minds of everyone on the planet in line, letting everyone know that, hey, we've had big threats like this before. We've had Null come through and try to take over the planet. We've had the Skrull try to take over the planet. We've had Hydra try to take over the planet and take things from us, and we said no, and we avenged some shit. We did our job. And he potentially lets everybody know, like, hey, things are gonna be tough right now. Vampires are on some bullshit, but we will take care of this because we the motherfucking Avengers. So have some faith in us. And one thing we're noticing as that whole monologue is going along is that we're looking at different locations in which it's broadcasting, but you're starting to see where these different teams that separated are going. So we noticed that Hunter's Moon and Tigra are dipped off into a portal waiting towards Asgard, and they have a third person run with them now in the party, the person they were looking for. So any person looks kind of green, so I'm thinking it's possibly Loki, which would make sense too. If they have Thor strung up like that, like draining his blood out on the ship, I would think that his brother would come and try to help him out. So maybe Loki's gonna help them raise some kind of army, which maybe like dark elves, frost giants, I don't know, but it's gonna be cool to see what they're gonna do later on in the next issue. And for Clea and Doctor Strange, they also made a point to say that to accomplish their task, they're going to seek the help of another. And we are now in Latveria with them. So you see them talking to Doctor Doom potentially in the future, because if it's not Doom in Latveria, I don't know who else is going to be in Latveria that can potentially help out in the way they needed to get rid of the dark clouds blocking out the sun. And then lastly, we see Wakanda, which is not a member of the team currently right now, but we see T'Challa in like the underground caves of Wakanda, seeing the message and like kind of like breaking out of the trance a little bit again to kind of compliment Sam on his inspirational speech that he gave to the troops. And it's just dope to see that they made him a very integral piece of at least this part of the story. I don't know how important he will be going down the line, because the big point they tried to make for Sam Wilson in the beginning of the run in issue 1 is that Captain America is a symbol of hope for the human race, and that if Blade was able to turn him and show everybody that the symbol of hope was turned into a vampire, that would kill the morale of human beings and cause them not to fight back. The only critique I have on that, where I'm like, okay, I guess that's a big thing, is everything we've seen up until this point in regards to all the Bloodhunt tie-ins, the other 2 Bloodhunt main issues, is that regular people are not standing a chance against these vampires. Hell, a lot of the heroes like Wolverine, Jubilee, the Midnight Suns are all kind of struggling a little bit dealing with these hordes and hordes of vampires. So if the heroes are struggling, and we know they're not going to give up hope, and a lot of them don't really need that inspirational speech because they've been through shit like this before with the invasion of Null and other huge major threats to the planet like Thanos, I don't see why the regular people of Earth really needed that pep talk, because they're not fighting back and surviving these vampires, nor are they really mattering in the sense of defeating the overall threat. So maybe they have it to where like the power of friendship prevails and the human race can like give energy to Sam like a goddamn spirit bomb from Dragon Ball. I don't know. And I understand the premise of using him as a symbol of hope. That's what Captain America is at its core. He's a symbol of hope to Americans and the human race in the Marvel universe, but it just felt very, very like null and void here. Like it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, these vampires are here and they're trying to kill people. These regular people are getting fucked up one way or the other, because they're just not as enhanced as these vampires are in regards to speed, agility, strength, and yeah, the ability to bite through your fucking neck and drain you with like 4 pints of blood in an instant. I just don't see the point of it, but I digress. Lastly, we see that a part of the plan in doing the whole monologue speech to the troops thing in general, Captain Marvel makes it a point to say that they need to draw Blade out of the Impossible City with the Blood Coven to fight them on Earth, because for whatever reason they just won't be able to get into the Impossible City anymore, I guess. So their plan is to have Sam give this speech and super antagonize this being And the way they discuss it, at least the way she phrases it, is that there is something wearing Blade's skin, or something inside of him possessing him. So I guess is what we're going to go with as far as the theories on what's going on with Blade right now and why he's a villain. Something's possessing him. We don't know what it is yet, but something's inside of his body possessing him at this point. And he's very irrational and not as calm and collected as Blade is. So to Carol's point, she knew that them giving that speech was going to trigger him, yet it did, and now he and the Coven are on the way back to Earth after they got the fueled back up and drinking a bunch of Thor's blood. So we are kind of at an impasse too. And last thing that happened too as well is that Blade, I guess, essentially crashed this big like building down that is called the Temple of First Blasphemy. I'm not sure what that is. Again, if you are a big comic reader in regards to keeping up with all this Blade stuff before Bloodhunt, let me know if you know, if it's something that's completely new. Hey, I'm excited to see what it is and how it plays into the story going forward. But it was like the last thing you see in this issue, so it's been hyped up to be this big, intimidating thing apparently. So we're going to see what happens with it. So far, Marvel's Bloodhunt has been dope to me. This issue did a good job, I feel like, at kind of turning the keys and getting the engine revved up, because we're getting like halfway through the end times now with this run. We have 3 more single issues to go and a bunch of tie-ins in between. The recent tie-ins have been dope. I've been enjoying the Wolverine tie-ins. The Jubilee one-shot was really dope to me. As always, I'm enjoying the Strange Academy. I just think that we need to, get things moving along, get some of the plot threads of this story kind of unraveled so we can kind of understand what's going on a little bit more. Because I feel like they're still not really giving, I feel like we haven't learned much about what's going on in the story yet. Ever since the Dark Force energy blacked out the sun, all we know is that Blade is evil now. There's people that have been turned into vampires, and Blade is going after some artifact in Wakanda, and he wants Brio. All those things are things that still stand true. 3 issues in, a bunch of tie-ins, and we haven't seen too much of what's going on here. So hopefully in issue 4, things start to unravel. I think you need to start kind of winding the story down, because again, you're halfway through it now. We need to start getting at the climax and start kind of getting down that hill and kind of landing this bird, because so far it's been great. It's been great, don't get me wrong. I love Bloodhunt so far. It's one of my favorite runs that I've read in a very long time, and my first run that I've like bought and collected physical copies for really every issue, every tie-in. I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with Bloodhunt. I love it. Horror fan of me loves it. So we shall see what's going on with Marvel's Bloodhunt for issue number 4. I'll be covering a lot of tie-ins really soon with my guy Ernie from Blur Without Fear. So you guys be sure to check in for that live stream that's going to be happening Tuesday. And yeah, man, this has been your boy Captain Diesel, and this has been the review of issue number 3 of Marvel's Bloodhunt. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you think my opinion is null and void and you have the superior opinion, or let me know if you agree with me. Either or, I have fun. Hope you have fun. See you guys next time. Peace.